afternoon, LinkedIn. Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon, Twitter. Good afternoon, the world. Coming up on today's show, we have the incredibly multi-talented Mr. Barry Hunt from WordSmart Communications, and also the lovely Rosie Smith from Smart PA.
Hello. How are you? Hey. Oh,
Slight glitch on the button there.
Got my Cobra Club mug going.
I've got my Cobra Club mug too.
Cheers. Do you know, it's blowing. I think the Scottish would call it a hoolie, but it's blowing a bit of a gale outside with me, rainy and wet.
Yeah. Well, I'm only 20 miles up the road, Ed, and I think it's doing the same at this end.
You can't go wrong, can you?
So, if you're out there today, let us know what the weather's doing in your area. And yeah, come say hi, pop something in the comments. Say hello. Hello to Louise Max. Hello, Louise.
Hello, Louise. How are you? I think
Nice
she's
to
hung
see you.
up. Look at the picture.
One of the best web designers in the UK, currently providing lots of web design services and doing a great job. So well done, Louise. Highly recommended.
And if you want to have a shout out for your own business and you want to find out a bit more, come say hi, introduce yourself in the comments, and we'll give you a shout out. If you're not a Cobra Club member, but you'd still like a shout out, you're more than welcome to do it. We will do, but just tell us what your business is called so we can.
Yes, that would be good. That would be good. So Ed, Louise says she's good. I'm good.
Oh, I'm
I'm
pleased.
glad Louise is good. So
Yeah,
brilliant.
it's a very good thing.
Working. It's all working, Ed.
Yeah, are we
So-
busy, Andy?
Pardon, sorry, Ed?
How's the Cobra Club doing at present? Busy?
We are busy. I think what we should do is to welcome some new members, shall we?
We've got a bucket load, so I'm ready when you are.
Right. Okay. Here we go.
Well, guys, we'd like to welcome a returning visitor to the Cobra Club, Elwyn Smiles. Welcome back, Elwyn. Great to see you again. He's coming to Quest West over Bristol, so good to see you there, Elwyn. We've got Justin Slipper, who's joined us from Cobra Jurassic, so down the south coast on the Jurassic coastline. We've got Christopher Robertson, who's joined us from Quest West as well, so that's really good. So Elwyn will have some new faces to meet in Bristol. Mitesh Manak has joined from Cobra Jurassic, so welcome there, Mitesh, forgive me. And then we have Lucia Lisovoska, who's joined us from Cobra M40. So great to see you, Lucia. Hope to bump into you in the club. And we have Jonathan Horrocks, who's come to join us at the Investment Lounge, which had a really good meeting today. So so every week we have an investment meeting. So a meeting that a networking meeting that meets specifically for people in the investment industry and anybody who wants to find out more about investments. So it's a great meeting run by David Lockett.
Yeah, great meeting, and it just keeps on getting bigger and better, as does the club every week. So if you haven't found out about it already, come and see us. Well, actually, what we'll do, Ed, let's play this video, which will tell us all about the Cobra Club. But when we come back, we will have Mr. Barry Hunt in the room. So let's do that. So here we go.
good old dance to that every time. Barry, welcome to LinkedIn Live. Good to see you.
Like a bad penny, I keep coming back. What can I say?
Well, not much more to say. It's nice to have you on the show today, Barry.
Great meeting you, Barry. On to the
I'm
next.
off. Goodbye. I'm off.
So,
Yes, no.
Barry, great to have you back on the show. It's been a little while now, but for all the thousands of people out there watching, I wonder if you could tell them a little bit about Mr. Barry Hunt and the world that Barry's come from, where you've been, and what you've done in the past, and leading up to WordSmart Communications Limited.
Yeah, I'll edit all the bits that I don't want to mention, and I'll keep it all good and positive. So my name's Barry Hunt, WordSmart Communications Limited. I've essentially been a writer all my career, from when I left school right through. Did journalism for 20 plus years, and editor, newspaper reporter, sports editor, head of production, you name it, all that kind of business, and set up WordSmart Communications. It's coming up to 5.5 years, which is good. And so I've been doing that for the last 5.5 years, helping businesses people who can't, not very good at writing. I haven't got the time, I haven't got a clue, a bit of both. I can help them to get out there with the website content and anything else they need help writing, basically. So that's kind of where I am.
I've been working with you, and it's quite interesting when you work as a writer, because people can write, but there's specific styles and types of writing for different areas. For instance, of your website, etc. There's content, and then we were talking about cornerstone content, and then we're talking about blog writing, and then we're talking about sales writing, and there's different styles, and it's getting the style right and the feel right. It's really, really important, and that's where you need an expert.
I had a conversation with someone less than probably an hour ago on the phone. He rang me up. That's my first blog I'd written for him, and so I've only really just met him, and he goes, "It sounds like, I'd written it myself had he been able to." It was that tone, and that's kind of the hardest thing to get, but it changes for different people. So in the same way that back in the day, I used to write for lots of different newspapers and magazines. They all had their own different style. So it's not about you having your own personal style, because that would upset the flow of the publication. It would look out of look out of place.
Because the newspaper is a classic example, isn't it? Because the way you write about the TV review is very different to the sports review, which is very different to the headline and the first story.
They've all got their own different styles about how you write. So some of the if it's a tabloid or a broadsheet or whatever magazine, and what market you're writing to. So it's all very, you've got to be adaptable, and some people have not one style, but they have a common type of featurey style or whatever it might be. But I like to think that I'm adaptable and I'll just write for whatever audience it is. I don't, I haven't got a Barry Hunt style of writing. I just do it to. The greatest compliment you can say is when you write something for a different magazine, it goes, "Oh, I didn't realise that was you writing." No, but that was because it's in the way of in keeping with the rest of the magazine. So
I've never thought about actually writing in different styles of. I just thought writing is writing. You're a writer, either you can write or you can't write. But actually, I mean, that's quite a big thing to do. I would.
It is, and technical information, especially, the amount of research and double checking and checking facts and all that sort of good stuff that people don't think about necessarily, but you would do. So you'd go away and say, "Well, I can't write like that, but I can write like this," and you'd think about actually what you're saying as well. So,
yeah, I wouldn't write at, say, a level that's kind of like aspiring to be for professors or whatever, theologians. I kind of say I'm an idiot, and I kind of write for idiots. So if I don't understand something, I go away and find out what it means, and then put it in a way that if I understand it, then 9 times out of 10 people reading it will understand it. Yes. So that's kind of the bar for me. If I don't know what it is, I can't explain it to someone, and I've got to do that to make it so people can actually get what you're talking about. Or if I don't understand it, I don't think it's written in the way that I would, put it in a way, hopefully, that would be, good for
I
people.
think a lot of people have that thing with their products or their service, is that they get what their service is. To articulate that to Joe Blogs out there is actually very hard, because if you talk about it being the expert, it sounds.
Well, you know too much or too close to it, isn't it? So it's that third person, that's different perspective to it, which is kind of where I used to go into when I was a commercial editor, to go into businesses and shops, and they'd talk to me for about, I'd say, "Oh, show me around what you do," and they'd show me around their business and whatever for ages and whatever, and then through that conversation, I would try and find where I thought was the most value to the audience for whatever it was I was writing for, if it's a digital platform or a printed product or whatever it was. I knew what our audience, demographic was or whatever, and I'd have to try and say to them that's great, but it wouldn't fit with the audience that we've got. They don't want the latest gadget, because the audience we have tends to be a more 40 plus, more mature age group, and they're not so interested in the latest gadget. They're probably more just in convenience or whatever it might be. So it is putting that different hat on and just sort of writing to the audience rather than writing to what you want to write about. That makes
and understand the purpose of what you're writing. So what's the objective for the business here? Is it, is it to get more business? Is it to educate? What is the benefit? Why are you writing what you're writing? And then to make sure that by the time it's finished, it's hit that goal too, which I think is quite complicated to do in certain cases, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but you've got to. When I speak to people and they say, "Well, what's the message? What are you aiming at?" If I haven't got an idea, then I haven't really done the marketing part of the process, which is to get a strategy in place, do all the kind of the staring into your navel to think about what it is you're doing, what you want, and think about your targets. And I come along and then hopefully help you hit those targets. But without the targets and without the idea of where I'm aiming, that's not much help to me. I need a focus for anything you do, whether it's a blog or a social media post or whatever. It's got to be aimed at someone. The same with your website. It's got to be a customer journey. When your visitors hit the website, you've got to try and guide them somewhere.
I suppose that's the thing. You've got about 3 to 5 seconds when someone hits your site or reads your blog post.
It was exactly the same when I was in newspapers. It was kind of like the headline, the intro. Past that, if you haven't got them, then they weren't going to get to the bottom of the article. It's the same thing. The same rules apply.
And then looking at it further forward, so I know we're working on a site at present, and we were talking about bounce rate earlier, weren't we? And we've managed to take the bounce rate from 40%, which means people just visit and don't stay, down to 16%, which is brilliant, down to 0% last week. So in other words, every single person who visited stayed to look about the site. And that's to make people engaged and to stay. And everybody has their own skill sets, but it's particularly important, a writer in that case, to look at where people are going, what they're doing, why they're leaving the site, why they're staying on the site, giving them a reason to stay, giving them a purpose and a direction, and all that sort of stuff. It's actually quite technical, and you're an expert at it. So it's really good to have somebody who can go, Barry, this is what I say, I need some content on there about X, knowing that person actually understands what you're asking for and then can deliver it so that it serves the purpose it wanted to serve. So it's very much put it out there, test it, review, test it, review to get it actually working and doing what you want it to do. And I think people forget that sites are evolving, certainly with the internet, they're evolving things. Your site doesn't stay still. So a lot of people write a site and then never go back and look at it again. And that's where a writer can really make a massive difference to your business, because they can actually start to re-engage it or engage the people who are visiting and actually ultimately get them through to talking to you to sell to them.
Yeah, it's not just me. It's a team of people. If you've got someone who's technically minded, who can do all the data behind your website, the bounce rates, and even the hotspots of where people are clicking and all that kind of stuff, that really helps define, and can test and measure it. I think I explained to someone the other day about webs. You get a shiny new website, it looks great, whatever, but that's just the start of the journey. You need to think of it like a car, a high performance kind of car where if it's like it's peak performance when it leaves the showroom. It'll only stay at peak performance with regular maintenance and putting the right fuel in it. And the content is kind of like the fuel for your website, because that's the thing that will power it up to Google rankings. So you just got to keep as you would fill up your tank or charge up your car nowadays. That is your content.
Yes.
And if you put the right your right amount of content in, it's got the right number of keywords, then that should make your car go faster, your website perform better.
It's really interesting. It's a great analogy, actually, because compared to the cost of a car, the cost of keeping it serviced and up to date actually isn't very much compared to the cost of the car. And it's the same with those sorts of services. You don't need to be spending thousands, and that you can do, but thousands of pounds. Actually, probably a little bit of maintenance, a few £100 here and a few £100 there, or less than that, can actually make a huge difference. And then mirroring that across to your social media content and the messages you're putting out there, and you put in the blogs, etc., and how they're working, ultimately have an effect on your business, and it starts to.
Yeah, people say, I spent £5,000 on the website, top end, and it's not getting anywhere. Well, because it's a new website. New websites do take longer to get traction on the search engines, and you've done nothing with it. It's like having a brand new car sat on the drive. You've got to use it. You've got to,
And even sat on the drive, if you don't use it, it does go off, and you have to spend money. You wasted your investment if you're not actually using it. So, and for the sake, as you said, for a few, £100 or £200 or whatever it is, depending how much work it needs for SEO or for content updates, then you spent that amount of money. You might as well spend a smaller amount to keep it going. Even if it's your sort of like automated email marketing and those sorts of things, one message will get a certain response, and a slightly tweaked message will get a different response, and you need to be constantly looking at it and rethinking it. And to have someone who can actually write and give you those ideas is a huge benefit to your business, because it's the smallest of differences that can make the biggest impact on business coming through. So people will say, "Oh, email marketing doesn't work." Well, it doesn't if you do it badly. If you do it well, it works really well. So it's just understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, reviewing, going back, and working with what we do is working with an experienced team who look at that and rejig it the whole time. It's a constant thing.
It's finding that message, and if you're doing like adverts on social media, you do a spread of adverts, slightly different, slightly tweaked, and then you can obviously gauge in real time kind of how that is doing. And it's similar to your website content, because you can see how your pages are being looked at with the right software and analytics and whatever. So that's a fun thing, because before, in the old printed days, you'd write it, put it in the newspaper, and you think, oh yeah, people loved it, but you had no way of saying that. You might look at the newspaper sales, but that's just because I had a voucher for Tesco on the front or something. That you didn't know it's because something that had been written. Whereas as soon as we went digital and went online, suddenly you could see the number of hits for every single thing you wrote. And that's a great bit of insight into audience and print and digital is different, and that's a different argument. But at least it gives you an idea of what people found more popular. So
I think they all have the same thing. And ultimately, are you engaging your client? If you're engaging your client, be it in a newspaper or on the internet, it doesn't matter. You've got to engage them, and they've got to have a reason. So it's not that these things don't work. It's probably because you're not doing it as well as you could be. Because it does, they do work for other businesses. So if it isn't working for me, what am I doing that I need to change? And I can sit here and write different things, but God knows if they're the right things to write or the wrong things to write. You have to do it a little bit more scientifically and actually let experts help you. It doesn't cost a lot, but it's a really, really effective way of changing your business fortunes.
So Barry, if we had to summarise the last sort of 10 minutes into 3 top tips you'd give people in terms of maybe one for blogs, one for sort of website copy, and one other that I'll let you choose.
Okay.
What would they be? But before you answer, we're going to get to watch this.
Blogs, I would say, base it around some kind of search term. So if you're thinking about writing a blog about baked beans or something, then type it into Google and see what the suggestions are there. Or you can get some free software, free plugins for Google, where it actually give you the search volumes for that. So which is really helpful. So that way you can target a search word that is being, or a keyword that is being searched by lots of people on Google. That'll give you a bit of a head start on that one. Website content is kind of, particularly your homepage, tend to put too much on their homepage. I kind of like to say to people that the homepage is like the content page of a book. It should just give you the overview of what the site contains, with a few, obviously call to actions and get them to do what you want. But it shouldn't be an loads and loads of words and text. It should just be, a place where it directs them to somewhere else. And generally, last thing, if you don't know, if you're unsure about what to write or what to look at, then just look at your competitors or somewhere else and see what they're doing. So if you're for example, you're a plumber in Milton Keynes, for example, go and search plumber in Brighton or Portsmouth or whatever it might be, and see how the people who are, or the businesses that are ranked. You probably get a lot of kind of like search engines like Yale and stuff and whatever in the top listings, but the top company but businesses listings, see how they do it and get a steer from them. Because that's a really good. It's like competition analysis. That's kind of what it is. But that's a good idea, just to give you a flavour of what works for someone else, and you can maybe kind of like use the same sort of techniques.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for all the hard work you've done that you've been doing for us. So thank you very, very much.
No pleasure. And it's coming up 2 years, isn't it?
2 years, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
The Cobra Club.
2 years.
I'll buy my hat and I'll be there at the party.
I know that the businesses that I've involved you in have really, really benefited from your involvement. So I would absolutely give anybody a referral who wanted to come and have a chat about Barry's. His work's first class, absolutely first class.
And thank you for doing all that you do with the club. It's been a great help.
God bless you.
Thank you, Barry. So, in case someone just get hold of you, Barry, how would someone do that?
I was waiting for. You haven't got a trailer for that, have you? Okay, no, that's fine.
Oh, here we go. Tristan Helen Smith says, "Great tips, Barry. 2-year t-shirt."
2-year t-shirt, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There must be something like that. Our hamper. Everyone must get a hamper. I think that should be the thing.
I think Tristan Helen Smith from Shout Cyber. So I forgot Tristan. Sorry, forgive me.
I hear Fortnum & Masons are quite good, but anyway.
Yeah.
Contact me. I'm on all the contact. Just search for WordSmart Comms, WordSmart Communications, and my details there or on the screen. As if by magic. How did that happen?
It's just clever. We've got this AI technology. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it'll catch on. This stuff.
Happy days.
Anyway.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And,
Been great to catch up today.
I'll be back in 2 years.
2 months, we'll have you back on.
Cool. All
Give
right.
Barry get in touch, Barry. He's
Thank you, Barry. We'll see you soon. Take care, mate.
Thank you so much. fantastic. Barry's a very, very useful engine to know.
Always insightful, that's for sure. I always feel like I'm learning something new, which is what it's all about, isn't it?
No, it really is. And we meet some real big, sort of really good people in the Cobra Club who are just there to give advice, not necessarily charge you any money. They're just here. And if you want to have some advice and some tips, come in and chat to us because we can really help you. And some of those people we like to call heroes, don't we, Andrew?
I do like to call them
Who's
heroes.
your hero of the week? Can I ask you?
Okay, so purely, well, for lots of reasons actually. A, because he's a good egg. B, that I really rate his ability to do his job. Is Graham Bayliss today, our SEO specialist, and who delivered will help us to identify, like we were talking about earlier, about sort of bounce rates, reducing bounce rates to zero. And obviously we're using a great team with likes of Barry and Louise and Tristan and Logan to get these things done. But that final bit of pulling it together and monitoring and informing about how well this whole thing is oiled and pulled together, and the results. My hero of the week is Mr. Graham Bayliss.
Oh, fantastic!
Serendipity Marketing or Serendipity SEO specialist. For all his work on SEO, he does an amazing job. And,
very useful money. I mean, he was coming back to about a blog today, and he's saying that it's 85% compliant with which is better than most blogs. But then you can look at to make it 90% or 95%, so that Google finds it even more, and then more people come.
Yeah.
So, it's how you put things together and the different phraseology. If someone's searching in a specific manner, then they will find you if you're putting blogs together in that specific manner. So it's very, very clever stuff, and really cost effective, and just changes your business.
Yeah, speaking in English, so we can all understand it and we can all take those things on board and make the changes where necessary. So hero of the week is Mr. Graham Bayliss. Thanks, Graham. Right, okay, Ed. So I think it's nearly time to get our next guest in, because once again, just rolling along like we do. So let's play this VT, and unless you want to do a,
always good for that.
Okay, let's get you to quote of the week first. So here we go. Let's see what Williamson's wise words are this week.
Dancing away. I think you have to sort of check into everything that we're saying there, which is, and this is a quote by a guy called Frank Bettger, Bettger. What he says is, if you don't believe in what you're selling, neither will you prospect. And it goes down to passion. So you've got to absolutely 100% passionately believe in what you're doing and what you're selling, because then your client will be able to. So a lot of the time, people know what they do so well, but they're not passionate when they describe it to people, and they don't sell it. So if you want your client to get passionate and spend money with you, get passionate and understand your product really, really well. So it sounds like common sense, but in effect, it's missed by a lot of people. So believe in your product, and if you want help articulating that, use people like Barry Hunt, who can help you to articulate that through your site. Use people like Graham Bayliss, who can say, well, actually, Ed, no one's searching for what you're saying, but they are searching in this manner. So you can change yourself so that you actually get the results you want to do. And lastly, I'd say, sit down with somebody who can actually take your business from where it is now and structure a plan to get it to where you want it to be. And that's where they should get involved, people like you, Andrew, because they need to come and meet people like Andrew Hatcher to actually give them a bit of vision. So you have passionate message that your clients understand and a vision for your business to be able to move forwards, and ultimately you can achieve your goals. And all those little components that maybe you just don't know nothing about, and why would you? The experts around you can sort of say, have you thought about SEO? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And you can look into it and you can find out, and you can really, really change your business fortunes by using clever people. And going back to the Cobra Club, they're all here. So if you want to come and meet some really engaged, really interesting people who can really benefit your business for free, come into the Cobra Club, come to some of the meetings, get involved, and that sort of like message gets rubbed off by osmosis, and then you're spending your money sensibly with people that you know, like, and trust. That's at www.thecobraclub.co.uk. And if you want a virtual tour for free, we can do that for you.
Fantastic. That's great advice there, Ed. Thank you. I just want to say a quick hello to Meenal. It's been a while, Meenal.
Hello, Meenal. How are you?
And coming through on another channel, Andrew Merrifield. Yeah, the event's live. Andrew, good to see you. Good to hear from you. And Mr. Duncan McDougall as well. So, hi, guys. Great to see you all.
Duncan McDougall, check out his posts. They're fantastic. He does different posts all the time, and they're always just really interesting. Put your shoulder to the wheels is one the other day. He just sort of explains some of where English comes and just fascinating stuff. So thank you, Duncan, for entertaining.
Okay, right, Ed, let's play this VT. When we come back, we have the wonderful Rosie Smith in the room. So here we go.
Hey, Rosie.
Hello, Rosie.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Very, very well indeed.
Welcome to the show today, Rosie. First time you've been on the Gritty Business Show. And
Yeah.
So what we do is like to find out a little bit about Rosie and, you know, where's Rosie been before? What jobs have you been doing? How has it led to PA Services, Smart PA Services Limited?
Well, I've been in general administration through different industries all my working life, and that is all I will admit to 30 plus years.
You started when you were 1.
Well, yeah, I was really young. But, so, and for a period of time, I actually owned and ran my own magazine in Cyprus.
Wow.
Selling advertising space basically to the local expats to work for the local expats.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's where the magazine made its money. So I had a taste of being my own boss and, you know, being in charge and dictating when I did what I did, how I did it. But then I came back to the UK in 2013. I've been working for the National Trust in the intervening time, but I always hankered to, I want to be my own boss again. I want to be my own boss again. And it was looking to find an opportunity that allowed me to do what I knew best, which was admin and helping people with their customer services and anything, you know, that goes out there. So I found this franchise with Smart PA. So that's where I am now. I'm now running my own business as part of a franchise. So
Fantastic. And what sort of services do Smart PA, or you acting as a Smart PA, what sort of things do you get involved with? I guess it's quite broad, isn't it?
it is very broad, you know, anything from email management, travel management, diary management. They also have I'm not an expert, but I have contacts where I can get website management, SEO, social media, basically anything and everything to do with administration. If somebody came to me with a need, if I personally can't do it myself, I have the backing of 300 other Smart PA partners that I can go out to and say, I need help with this. And
Andy and I have been fortunate enough to, obviously before we knew you, but to use Smart PA services. And Smart PA is a great organisation. I think PA probably undersells what it actually does, because in effect you can help people with whatever their issues are, and manage it. And I think that sort of breaks down to time management, doesn't it, for people, because they spend a lot of time doing things that don't make them money when they could be out there making money and letting someone else do the work.
We've all run our own businesses. We all get caught up in sort of like dealing with either we get caught up in dealing with the emails and spending valuable time answering hundreds of emails that we get every day, or the other alternative is that you leave it and get on with your business and do what makes you money, but then you've got to find time, and that goes into your personal time. So you spend evenings and weekends, so you could be missing out on important family things because you've got, I've got to do this, it's part of my business. You'll miss your sales if you don't keep on top of your emails. Whereas if you've got a Smart PA or somebody like that, just doing it for you, even if they're just categorizing it so that you've got like sales in one box. So all you need to do as a business owner is you go in and say, oh, right, I need to do that, that, and that, and get rid of the junk. You know, we all get junk emails. But yeah, even somebody just doing that and farming out the junk, or just doing a quick, we've received your inquiry, we'll be with you shortly. It gives the client or the person contacting you that comfort that they're not being ignored. And I think a lot of small businesses have this problem. Oh, well, I'll deal with it later, I'll deal with it later, and they never get dealt with. So the person making the inquiry will then think, well, I'm not going to use them. They haven't even got the courtesy to acknowledge my email. So, you know, that is the sort of things a smart PA, taking on a smart PA, will have the time to do that you as a business owner won't, because you're more focused on getting on your own.
I guess most of the time, you know, it does come back to that customer service, and you know, we've all been guilty of it. You know, we've got someone sat there waiting for a communication from us that aren't getting a communication from us, and you know, it's very easy to lose an inquiry through neglect.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just that, you know, we're all human, and your brain can only cope with so much. So, you know, what do you fill your time and your brain with? If it's doing stuff that you just don't really want to be doing, then you can actually free yourself up for that quality attention that you're able to give things to be fundamentally making money. So they're very, very, very cost effective as well. It's you know.
So in terms of the companies you deal with, is it, you know, you're dealing with one-man bands? Are you dealing with corporates? Are you dealing with someone with 5 employees upwards? Because is that question, isn't it, of how, you know, I'm a one-man band, but do I need, I'm rushed off my feet. Do I need a PA? Do I need someone like yourself, or what should I do, you know, or am I not big enough, you know, to have that kind of service?
Generally, the smart PA partners will deal with companies from the sole trader up to companies with, say, 50 employees. Anything larger than that, you tend to get more legal restraints and problems. So corporate head office up in Edinburgh rather, will take those on and manage them. But even then, you know, if I was to refer somebody of that nature to head office, I would then still get commission.
That's good.
From that lead.
Yeah, really, really good. I mean, and I think people don't always understand, when you say up to 50 people, the majority of the businesses in the UK are what we call SMEs, small to medium-sized enterprises. So, and I mean, if there were 6 million businesses in the UK, you could probably service 5.5 million of them. I mean, it's a huge chunk of the population that you're talking about. And really diverse. We've met people, Andy and I have met people who can't organise their time, and we've suggested to use VAs, and they'll say things which just make you giggle. I haven't got the time to do that. Well,
but you're spending your time doing all this stuff that you don't need to be doing.
Or I hate doing this job. Well, why do you do it then? You don't need to. You're self-employed. You run your own business. You can actually, you know, let someone else help you.
I think the good thing is that, you know, it doesn't need to cost a lot either. You know, it's taking that pressure off without costing the earth. And I'm sure you'll agree it's one of the most cost-effective things to do, because in terms of, you know, you're not an employee, you've got the national insurance and
you don't have to pay for the office space, you don't have to pay for the IT equipment, because the virtual PA or smart PA has all that set up in their own office and work from there. So I think research said that something costs twice as much to actually employ somebody by the time you've gone through all the recruitment process and all the cost effectiveness and the office space. And so somebody on a £27,000 salary, it's going to cost you 50-odd thousand.
And in terms of
revenue to actually take them on and have them working for you.
I've got 3 people in 3 people working with me, and one of them goes sick. That's 33% of my staff I no longer have. Smart PA, you might go sick, Rosie, but Smart PA can cover. So you've got that continual cover and accountability, and you know, whereas with employee, if they don't do a very good job, what do you do? How do you get rid of them? All those sorts of things. You haven't got that with Smart PA. You say that wasn't good, and they redo it. You know, it's the ability to be able to get on and run your business the way that you want to run it, and let the time, money wise, spend help you to
Yeah.
to do that. But it sort of goes back to a lot of what Barry was saying too. You've got to do it right. If you're going to
Yeah.
run a business, run it right.
Yeah.
And that's where using people like you is spot on the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's just sort of the small independent. They might sort of like think, "Oh, I need help, but I can't afford to employ anyone." Well, because then they have to take on things like the pay as you earn and the national insurance and pension contributions. Whereas with taking on a VA or a smart PA, all they do is they have that one monthly cost as agreed at the start of the contract, and that's all they pay out. They don't have to worry about anything else because
Absolutely. I work from home.
the VA will do
So
it.
if I had an employee, they'd have to come into my home, and then they've got all that sort of like malarkey of getting them proper desks and a safe work environment, all the other good stuff. You just don't have to. So I think a lot of people don't because they think, oh, getting somebody else in would just be too much hassle.
Yeah.
And actually, it doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't. No.
And it can only be like an hour a week or an hour a month or 10 hours a week. It can be whatever you want it to be. You can start, you can try, which I think is a fab.
I think a lot of people also worry that they'll lose control. They've got somebody else there and they're losing control. But the whole point of having a PA is that they deal with it the way you want it to be dealt with.
Yes.
Yeah. And smart PA will make it, oh, have you tried doing it this way, or have you tried doing it that way, or you might find it more efficient. And at the end of the day, that's only benefiting you as a business because your business is becoming more efficient.
Yeah, and I'm able to bring somebody in. If I recruited someone, let's just say I wanted a receptionist, I'm going to muck it up. I'm going to say the wrong words, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I can afford so much, so I'm going to get the level of person that I can afford to employ full time. Whereas with Smart PA, you get people at the top of their profession. For a fixed amount of money, so you know exactly what they're paying. But probably for the same money, you couldn't get that from somebody else. So you get a far better quality of support within your budget, which is exactly what you want. Because a Smart PA operative may be able to do the work that someone else would take 5 hours to do in an hour, in half an hour, which again saves you money, saves you time. And streamlines your business, makes it better.
I mean, at Smart PA, if we've got a client and they're contracted for 20 hours, we actually account for every minute of that 20 hours and give a weekly report to the client saying, this is what we've done for you, this is how long it's taken. If you take on an employee, you've then got sort of like trips to the ladies' room or the restroom, you've got tea breaks, you've got, whereas certainly a Smart PA, and I dare say a lot of other VAs will just actually account for the time they are actually doing that task,
My internet was down, sorry, or I missed that email, all that sort of stuff. And what do you do? How do you do it? And actually, you probably paid a lot more money out than you would have done had you just got an expert in to do the work.
And get on with it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
so listen, sorry, Andy, you.
Go on, Ed.
Someone as multi-talented as you must have. We like to find out just a little. In Cyprus, very interesting. We'll pursue that one, but just like to find out a bit more about the person behind Rosie Smith. So I'm just going to quickly pop on a short VT, which is going to ask you a question, so we can find out a bit more about you. So here we go. You'll see. This is one of my favourites. Here we go. So, with your super duper time machine, where would you go back to and why?
That's a very good question. I think I'd like to go back to the 1800s before all this technology, but knowing about technology, so I could be there and
Invent it.
invent it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Going back with the knowledge you've got now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the fun of it. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
It's
Are
like-
you into like your period dramas and things like that, Rosie?
I'm not, to be fair. I'm not into period dramas, but I sort of like, especially with this pandemic and everything else, I'd like to know how people would have dealt with it when they didn't have things like computers and smartphones and even a telephone. I wonder what it was like back in sort of like the 1920s when they had the flu pandemic, because they wouldn't have had the contact and the distribution and news like we have now.
No.
Oh, or the
Yeah.
sanitation or anything else that we have.
Exactly, but yeah,
bless them. Yeah, no, fascinating to go back and see though.
yeah,
And the human spirit that sort of goes alongside that, you know what I mean? So how people actually cope in these situations.
yeah,
And to realise that actually probably nothing changes from a human perspective.
yeah.
From a technology perspective, it definitely does. People are people.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
So
Awesome.
I have-
So, in terms of if someone wants to, they believe it might be right for me, a smart PA or a smart VA. Is it PA or VA? I mean, is there no distinction? I never know. I know smart PA are called smart PA, but some people call them PAs, some people call them VAs.
The difference is a PA tends to be more in situ, whereas a VA is more virtual. So technically, I'm a VA, but if I have a local customer, for instance, that would like me to go in and sort of sit in their office for an hour a day to talk to them or whatever, I don't have any issue with that. So it was obviously curtailed during the pandemic. Everybody worked from home. Everybody worked virtually. Essentially, I can work from home, so I can take out the costs of all the office equipment and the IT equipment and stuff. But I don't have a problem with going and sitting in an office and doing work there if a client actually wanted me to.
Fantastic. So if I was interested, how would the consultation work? Is it a free? I mean, how do people get hold of you?
Well, they need to get a hold of me by contacting me on my email address. Yep, that's one. Or phone me. If they're actually interested, then we have a session which we call an onboarding session, where we'd go through what their needs were, what areas they needed support with, so we can then work out a time frame, a time package. And that takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
Brilliant.
And once we've got those details, depending on their needs and what needs to be set up prior to working, we can actually be set up and working within as little as an hour.
That's very
Yeah.
good. Very, very
Yeah,
good. And if
that's
somebody
brilliant.
just wanted to come to the Cobra Club and meet you at one of the meetings and just have an informal chat, you're up for that?
Oh, I am definitely up for that. The more people I can talk to, the better.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I would encourage people to do, is to explore. Come
Yeah.
and chat. It doesn't matter. No obligation. I mean, you can come and chat and say,
Yeah.
what would it cost? This is what would it save? So people can think about it. And I
Yeah.
think for a lot of one-man bands, they feel that they have to do everything themselves because it's their business. And actually, there are bits in your business that you don't need to do yourself.
Yeah.
And you can just enjoy nothing else. Save time, save money, brilliant. But you can enjoy your job far more if you're not doing the bits you don't want to do.
That's correct. Yeah. We've
Yeah.
all been there, haven't we? Sort of like another day.
Absolutely.
Don't want to get up in the morning. Oh, another day doing that. But
Absolutely.
fortunately, that stopped when I started doing the smart PA. So
Can't go
Yeah.
wrong. Can't go wrong.
Thank you so much, Rosie. I mean, I've obviously known you for a bit of time now, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend you to anyone out there.
thank you for that. Yeah.
And I know, obviously, we know Smart PA anyway. Recommend them as an organisation. So, yeah, if you're out there and you feel like you're drowning a bit, you need some support, come and speak to Rosie.
No problem.
Rosie's where it's at. So, thank you ever so much, Rosie.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. All right.
Yep.
Right.
Certainly.
I'm going to play a short VT just as you leave, just to sort of find out a little bit more about who does our videos for us. So, Rosie, I should say thank you very much.
Thank you
And,
very much.
I'm going to play this.
Awesome.
Couldn't
That's
do it without
Hannah.
her. Fantastic. Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah. Who will actually be on the show next week? So she's one of the guests, Ed.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
Hannah's well worth having a chat to. If you want to get more out of your marketing, take your marketing in a different direction, Hannah's definitely the person to come to. So, yeah, I recommend that.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, there you go, Ed. It's been a great show. I'd just like to thank, again, Rosie Smith from Smart PA and Barry Hunt from Word Smart Communications. Awesome guests. I feel like I learn something every time, which is what it's all about. And I think it's time to go into the weekly events, don't you think, Ed?
Yeah, and thank you to Andrew Hatcher. We should also say,
Yeah,
best
thank
business
you,
guru
Ed.
around there. Yeah, well, thank you. Just we're here at the Cobra Club all the time, aren't we, Andrew? And all the people that you're seeing coming through LinkedIn Live, and you can go back through all our past episodes on YouTube if you want to, and find out a bit more about us. But actually, it's better just to come and chat. You find out so many different ways of helping your business and progressing at the Cobra Club. And if you want to have a quick tour of the Cobra Club, just to find out a bit more about us and what we do, pop along to www.thecobraclub.co.uk. Loads of orange buttons, but click the one for a free virtual tour. And Andy or I will take you around the show how we work, show you what's different about us to any other networking club that exists, and why our community is benefiting so much by being part of it.
Brilliant. Well done, Ed. Right, so here we go. Let's hit that button.
Right, so at the Cobra Club on a Monday Motivations with Ed. Come along at 9 till 10 on a Monday morning. Let's get your diary full of appointments for the week and get you some business.
Brilliant. Next up, we have the wonderful Christy and Christy Norris. That is Christy's Virtual Coffee Club every Monday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Followed by Cobra Creative, which is every Monday at 4 till 5. She's on next week. Come and meet Hannah Matarazzo and learn how to collaborate and create relationships and create growth.
Brilliant. And Mr. 00 Heaven himself, Mr. Zafran Khan, number 11th in the UK Worldwide Networking Circuit, offering Guru Monday Mayhem at 7 p.m.
And then you can go to Quest West on a Tuesday morning, 10:30 to 11:30, and meet the inspiration that is Judith West.
Awesome. Next up, the Cobra Business Quiz with Mr. David McKenna. Every Tuesday is 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. A good bit of business fun and a bit of networking too.
And then on a Wednesday morning, 9 till 10:30, the Make It Happen Hub with Elaine Atherton. Elaine's an inspiration. Come and meet her and just get some accountability for your business.
Awesome. And next up, we have the Investment Lounge with Mr. David Lockett. We'll help you put some pounds in your pocket. That's Wednesday mornings, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
And then you can meet the inspiration that is Beverly Lockett, the #1 Amazon best-selling authoress who does Hermit Hive Mastermind at 2 to 3:30 p.m.
Awesome. Next up, we have Yvonne Taylor, the missing piece of your jigsaw with the Jigsaw Hour every Thursday at 9 a.m.
And then pop along to see Chris Mason at Cobra Strike, 1 till 2 on a Thursday. Fantastic meeting. Great guy, Chris. Really welcoming.
Awesome. Next up, Speed Networking or the Business Networking Generator every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. onwards with the wonderful Kath Kirkland.
And then on a Friday morning, it's nice and early, so it's an 8 o'clock start for First Thing Friday with Louise Montblanc. Pop down and have fish and chips on the south coast with Louise.
Awesome. Next up, we have Katrina Ellis, Titan Troubleshooting, every Friday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come on and bring your business problems along and meet some other business people too.
Toot toot! Pop along to the Cobra Express business network event every Friday, 2 to 3:30 with Alan Cadden on his Cobra Express networking event.
And last but not least, if you like a nice glass of wine, a Wine Down Friday, every Friday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. If networking on a Friday afternoon is your thing, we'll see you there. But Ed, where is there?
www.thecobraclub.co.uk. Pop along, book a free virtual tour. If you want to come to one of our meetings and meet some people, come along, we'll get you in there for free. So come and find out what we're all about and just start to realise your business aspirations, your business dreams. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Awesome, Ed. It's been a great show today. We'll see you all again next week, folks. Over and out.
Now you're watching me, yeah, all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving it
don't you just go there with me? Surf in the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you are first. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the key. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what we want.